Okay, Windsor Heights City Council starts off with a council work session. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Roll call.
So do we still have to, we should probably still do a roll call.
I just asked for one.
Okay, all right, so I'll just flip that everyone's here. I'm sorry, the motion to approve the agenda again was?
Me, Mike Jones.
And second?
Joseph Jones.
Joseph Jones. Okay, Scaries?
Yes.
Joseph Jones?
Yes.
Mike Lafredo?
Yes.
Mike Jones?
Yes.
And Teresa Harm.
Yes.
Dennis, I believe the next item are all yours. Would you like to take over, please?
Okay, thanks, Dave. Back in October, I sent the council draft job descriptions for the administrative staff and public works staff. And that was for the purpose of providing plenty of time. It's been almost 3 months now for the council to review and ask questions. Tonight, I'm hoping that the council will discuss the job descriptions that they received and work towards an agreement on those so that I can place those on the council's agenda for February 1st for approval. Following that step, we will begin the process of finding a consultant to perform the comp studies for this employee group. One modification that I have been working on since sending you those job descriptions in October has been addressing the issue of city clerk backup. And with the COVID experience, the need for a job backup for the clerk has become very pronounced, and due to the workload of the finance director, which currently steps in when Travis isn't available, it's not realistic to expect Rochelle to assume that role along with her other finance director duties. So one thing I'm exploring is trying to work the backup of the city clerk into other existing roles. And so I just wanted to throw that out this evening if that discussion issue comes up. But other than that, I'm really looking, Mr. Mayor, for you to lead a discussion with the council about the job descriptions, the draft job descriptions that were sent to them in October so that we can finalize those hopefully the next meeting.
Dennis, can I ask a question, please? It wasn't that long ago before they were worked over the job descriptions by the staff, and it was before we did the last compensation study, and it probably spent 3 meetings on it. I sent you an email on this, about 3 meetings on it, and till we got people satisfied. So are there additions or modifications that we need to look at from last year?
I don't know, Mr. Lafredo. Because of the contentiousness of the discussion last time, I started from scratch and created new job descriptions based on probably 3 different versions that were in our file folders. So the ones that you see this evening are Dennis Durham originals borrowed from different sources over time.
Okay, so
Dennis, have you received, excuse me, Mike, have you received any comments from council on any one of those that they would like to change or make modifications to?
No, not yet.
and Dennis, the staff has gone through them and they're approved by the staff.
Yes, the staff and I work together every day, so yes, they did work on those.
I'm not suggesting that, but they've given all the input they want to give on them.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Okay, well, we did that last time. I don't know why you're laughing about it, but it's important that
It's just the way you said it. It was like the staff approved their own job descriptions. Seems kind of backwards to me, but
my feeling was, and I said it last time too, Dennis, I don't know what they do specifically. And truthfully, I know some of the things they do, but I don't know the details. So, I certainly couldn't write a job description for Chad or his captain or the patrolman or the fireman or some of Dalton's people either. So that's the reason I asked that, is because they are the experts, and that's where I think it needs to come from. So anyway, that was the reason for the question.
Anyone else got any comments about the ones that have been submitted?
Dennis, the city clerk, one, the heading says revision date. There's a typographical error. It says mark October 1st, 2020.
Yes, that one just wasn't updated, so it would be Dennis, and I think it was October 10th, 2020.
If obviously the staff had the input as far as, what the job descriptions are and are detailed, and you are happy with them, I am happy with them.
I agree with that, Mike. That was my point about asking about the staff. If everyone's happy with them, then I'm happy with them.
I think everybody's happy with them. I'm very happy with them, with the one exception of the city clerk backup function. And I'm really just not comfortable yet continuing on with the finance director being the backup. So hopefully by the time February 1st, if you want to take this up for a potential vote, before that, I will have some kind of alternative solution that the council can consider.
And I'm sorry, Dennis, I wrote a note. What is the what are you referring to? What is
Okay,
that?
so
What are you talking about?
hypothetically, let's say during this COVID issue, it's been going on now for 10 months, right? If during that time our city clerk had been incapacitated or unable to perform his duties as city clerk, then everything you see on his job description would have basically been put on hold until he was able to return to work. And so I want to have somebody that can devote time focused only on that and step in as the interim city clerk, so to speak. And at this point, I'm just not comfortable having Rochelle do that and continue on as the finance director. I think that would be burdensome to her. So I'm looking for a different way to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I think, Dennis, and I think that's fine, but you probably know, we didn't have a finance director until we added one last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Travis as the clerk and doing most of that stuff along with the administrator. So now we have
I mean, Dennis, because you know this because you looked at it. It used to be we had a clerk, and then we had a deputy clerk / communications director. And obviously since that time, the communications director is now also the CEC director, but now there's just the clerk, but with the removed responsibilities of the finance aspect of it. And so are you basically saying you want a deputy clerk?
That's one option that I've been looking at, yeah. But not as a new position.
Okay. And it's not a workload thing, it's just a contingency.
Correct.
It'd become a workload if we ever had to put it into effect, potentially. But then we got to look at backup for everybody anyway, so. Okay.
I know that
Dennis,
we're,
go ahead, Susan.
I know that we're talking about the job descriptions and all, but does this come with extra pay, or is it just extra pay when they take over for the clerk for an extended period of time, or have we thought that through at all?
Not that far, Susan.
Dennis, I appreciate the job descriptions and all the work that you put into that. What would be helpful for me is, and I know that it doesn't only pertain to these positions, but could we get some sort of an org chart? Would that be doable. I'm just trying to figure out how these all fit together, and that would be a great visual for me.
Yeah, that'll be pretty simple. I'll get that together for the council and send it out as soon as I have it prepared.
Thank you very much.
It appears like the only point of contention is possibly something with the city clerk. Has anybody got any comments about any of the other positions?
So I'm just going to make commentary just because as I kind of wrap my arms and head around this, and this is one of the things that I said when we started making changes to this, I don't know, this time last year or whatever. And I said, you know, my whole preference was to wait until our new city administrator was here so that they could make the organization and their own, if you will, with all due respect, to put their team together and figure out what were the needs. And we managed and had a lot of conversations. We added some new positions. We deleted some positions, we changed positions, we've done a whole lots of different things and before Dennis got here. So I'm open to these changes. I appreciate, I'll tell you, these are the cleanest, most professional job descriptions that I think I've seen in my 5-year tenure. So thank you, Dennis, for making those professional and cleaning those up, if you will. And so for me, and certainly an org chart isn't going to be the end all be all of how this is, but I like to see visually how things all kind of fit together. And then just, you know, having combed through these and looking at them again as we're having this conversation, I think it's important to understand how the team fits and works together and the roles and responsibilities of each of those. And as you put your team together, I'm open to figuring out how that works. But that's one of the things that we certainly knew that would come with this is, as there was no, I don't know what's the right word to say, orchestrated purpose in how, or rhyme or reason in how the other jobs were put together and the job descriptions were put together and this person's going to do this. And that was one of my biggest contentions with how this was approached before, that I appreciate your efforts to look at, you know, this is where I see a gaping hole. So let's identify where those holes are so we can figure out how do we approach and move forward. So we have a, you know, a unified team and that is, you know, providing full coverage and, you know, the best service to the folks of Windsor Heights. So we to make sure we don't have gaps in our service delivery at the end of the day. So I hope that makes sense and kind of, you know, provide some perspective on how I'm looking at this. I want to make sure that we've got all of our bases covered. It sounds like you're doing that, and it appears that way as you look at the job description. So thank you.
Anyone else have any other comments?
Well, Dennis, what are your suggestions?
Mine? My suggestion is we've got one that we have that Dennis has some concerns on, and I believe he can.
Dennis, what are Dennis, what are your suggestions for the solving this issue?
Right now, what I'm going to do, if everybody's comfortable, is I'm going to go with the job descriptions as blessed this evening for presentation to the council in February for approval. If I come up with a better solution within the next week or so for the backup city clerk, I will send that out as soon as I have it. So you have it in plenty of time for the next meeting. And then you can consider that as an option to approval on February 1st. But at the very least, I would like the council to look forward to approving these job descriptions that you see this evening on February 1st.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Susan Skiris,
Yeah.
Joseph Jones,
Yes.
Mike Lafredo,
Yes.
Mike Jones,
Yes.
and Teresa Harms.
Yes.
We are adjourned, folks, till February 1. Thank you.
Thank you.